Recently, Bryce Mitchell was on the Patrick Bet David podcast, and he talked about a lot of things. Particularly, he talked about flat Earth. Now, if you don't know who Bryce Mitchell is, he's a pretty good UFC fighter, and he agreed to debate me on flat Earth.
Hey, what's up, Michael Toon? I just want to let you know, dude, I did see your stuff on Instagram. I didn't know you were so serious about it, so, yeah, I'll definitely debate you.
The problem is, once he agreed to debate me, he sissied out. Now, I use the word sissy because that's the word that he used on Joe Rogan.
Hey, Joe Rogan, since you're too sissy to debate me, I'm just going to prove you wrong on Instagram.
I don't really blame Bryce for being too much of a sissy to debate me. This is probably what he would look like after he debated me. Well, let's get to what he said to Patrick.
I'm going to break it down as simple as possible.
Okay.
If they can convince you that the Earth is 13 billion years old,
4 billion.
it come out of the Big Bang, and we evolved from monkeys.
Common ancestor to monkeys. If you're going to think that you're smarter than all of the people that understand this topic, you could at least get the claim right.
There's no need for God. When you realize that the Earth is an enclosed system, there's a firmament over it, just like the Bible says, and that the sun and the moon are the exact same size, and that they circle the Earth, you're going to realize something intelligent put that here for life on this planet to flourish. And I'm telling you what it is, it's God.
There's many millions of Christians and people of faith that do agree in evolution and the age of the universe. They're not mutually exclusive like you're trying to make them out to be.
The Earth don't move. The Earth don't rotate. Everything in the sky rotates around the Earth.
You will find that Bryce has absolutely no evidence for anything he says. No evidence of measured non-movement. Nothing stationary. Nobody has that. But on the other hand, there are measurements of the daily rotation of the Earth. Foucault pendulum, the dual counter-rotating celestial poles, mechanical gyroscopes and optical gyroscopes all confirm that the Earth is rotating once a day. I'll put a link to a short list in the YouTube description. Further, the orbit of the Earth around the sun has been confirmed. And unlike you, the people that have done these types of things, Bryce, aren't atheists all the time. A pastor, James Bradley, in 1700s, measured the orbit of the Earth around the sun. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. So this whole atheist versus God thing is completely wrong about flat Earth and the globe.
Okay, and people don't understand what flat Earth is or why it's important. I'm telling you because as a Christian, you should know what God's creation looks like. And if you go to the Bible, over 5 times it says very clearly, this ain't the word of Bryce, this is the word of God, the earth shall not be moved.
Flat Earthers do love to cherry pick the Bible and very selectively interpret it. Job 9:6 says, "Who shakes the earth out of his place?" So which is it, Bryce? Are you going to cherry pick the verses that say that the earth does not move? Or will you accept the verse that says the earth is shaken out of its place? You've got a little conundrum there. You cannot take them both literally. You have to take one or both figuratively.
NASA don't differentiate the sun and stars. They tell you that they're the same thing. The sun is not a star. The stars are not suns.
I wonder what evidence he has to support this claim. Why does he think that the sun and the stars are not the same things? Did he do some analysis using spectroscopy? Did he do anything? No, he did absolutely nothing. Bryce has zero understanding of this topic. He should not be talking about it.
If they can convince you that we come from the Big Bang and the Earth is 9 billion years old.
4 billion. Last time you said 13 billion.
13 billion years old.
If you're going to be wrong, could you at least be consistently wrong?
Basically, there's an ice wall, and it's illegal to drive to the edge, brother. I wish that we could, but we can't go to Antarctica legally. So basically, there's an ice wall around the whole world, and we're not allowed to go to it, literally. If you went over there, they'd just arrest you.
Well, I've got good news for you, Bryce. You're wrong. There's a trip going to Antarctica this December, and you are invited. Everybody's invited. Will Duffy is the one organizing it. The trip is through ALE. You can find out all the information you want on YouTube on the final experiment channel. Bryce, why don't you just go there? You can. People go all the time. And in fact, the treaty says the opposite of what you just said.
But we can't go to Antarctica legally.
Maybe you could read it or ask somebody to read it for you. Article 2 says freedom of scientific investigation is guaranteed. That's what it says, not it's illegal to go there. Please, Bryce, just ask a big person to read it for you.
Satellites out there, maps, the way we can drive around is because of satellites. When you go, it's round. Satellites up there. That's how we're able to do what we do. What do you say to that one?
Okay, so satellites, here's the thing, is that there are some satellites that are on balloons, and it's that simple. They hover up to about 120, 130,000 feet, and they're on balloons. That's why NASA is the #1 user of helium in the world. NASA controls 99% of the helium supply.
Here we see how completely indoctrinated Bryce Mitchell is. He parroted that NASA controls 99% of the helium supply. This is completely untrue. The primary use of helium is MRI machines. Global use in 2021 was 32%. Lifting is 17%. That's it. That's all that you could say is going to balloons. So Bryce, why are you so easily indoctrinated and gullible?
Let me tell you the contrary. If you believe in satellites that they're actually in space, then you believe that there's about 50,000 or 100,000 satellites traveling around at 17,500 miles an hour. They don't need maintenance. They don't need a fuel source. There's no other proof of them other than NASA says that they're there. Nothing in the world can travel 20,000 miles an hour continuously with no fuel source.
There's an old saying, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Bryce has absolutely no clue what he's talking about here. Satellites don't need a fuel source because there's not enough air to provide enough friction for them to stop. They just keep going. It's the laws of motion there, buddy. Those are taught in elementary school. Maybe want to brush up on that. And they do need maintenance at times. Several of the larger, more important satellites have been maintained. And it's not just believing that they're there. You can actually communicate with them. Amateurs have pointed directional antennas at satellites and gotten views of the Earth photographs in real time from them. I personally got a video of the ISS crossing both the moon and the sun. So yes, there are definitely satellites there. They are definitely at the height that NASA says they are. This has also been confirmed. My friend Red's Rhetoric measured the elevation of the ISS. I'll put a link to that in the description. So Bryce, if you're going to say that these aren't true, then you're going to need evidence for it. But here's the real problem. You don't understand the speed. That doesn't make it false, Bryce. Things travel fast. Rockets make them go fast. That's how it works.
I'm telling you, we can't even get something to fly that fast, let alone do it with no fuel source and they're not hitting into each other and blowing up. I mean, think about it. You're traveling 20,000 miles an hour. That's faster than a lot of bullets, okay? If you so much as hit a piece of dust, you're going to kaboom because of the speed at which you're going.
Bryce, it's clear that you don't have even the most basic understanding of physics. You should stop talking while you're ahead, boy.
So let me tell you 100%, I can say with confidence, I'm not no scientist, no engineer, but I can tell you a simple experiment that you can undoubtedly prove the Earth don't spin. It involves a helicopter. I made this experiment up myself, okay? So you take that helicopter up in the air, you hover it for 4 or 5 hours at 15,000 feet, and you can go 0 miles an hour. You can go absolutely nowhere. Just hover and then come right back down on the same helicopter pad that you launched off of. Now, like I said, the critics are going to say, hey, well, Bryce, the helicopter has inertia. So when it takes off, it's already traveling 1,000 miles an hour. You just can't detect it. Well, here's what I've got to tell you. Have you ever run on a track? If me and you are equally fast and I run on the inside and you run on the outside of the track, who wins that race?
You.
Because I'm on the inside.
Sure.
Because you know the further you go out from the center of that circle, the more distance you have to travel to complete a circle. So what I'm telling you is when that helicopter goes up to 20,000 feet and it's sitting there hovering for 4 hours, not only does it have to spin 1,000 miles an hour, it has to spin more than 1,000 miles an hour to go back to the same spot that it landed.
I can't believe you just said that. It's pretty obvious that Bryce never did even the most basic analysis. At the equator, surface of the Earth is 6,378 kilometers in radius. And adding 20,000 feet, that's about 6 kilometers. So let's do the analysis for that. At the surface there, we've got 2 times r times pi is 40,073 kilometers. That's the circumference of the Earth at the equator. The circumference of the Earth at the height of the helicopter there is, you need to just add that 6 kilometers on. So 2 times 6,384 times pi equals 4,111 kilometers. The difference of 38 kilometers are about 24 miles. So all that you would experience for a helicopter floating or hovering 20,000 feet up is about 1 mile an hour of equivalent wind. And there's certainly more wind than 1 mile an hour. So this isn't anything difficult at all to do. The wind is more powerful than the rotation of the Earth. Bryce, this isn't your topic. You should move on to fighting. That's what you're good at.
Because now the Earth would be not attached to that helicopter, and so it's in a different type of rotation. It has to cover more distance to land in the same spot. You see what I'm saying? But how come I can get a helicopter and land in the same damn spot no matter how long I hover? Because the Earth don't move.
I want to make it clear. Bryce called other people idiots if they don't agree with him. But Bryce, you're an idiot. You have no damn clue about this topic. You did zero analysis of it. Anyway, I'm going to stop this one here. I'll cover the rest of this interview in a future video. Be sure to subscribe so that you can watch when I do that. And Bryce, if you ever do decide to sack up and find the courage and not be a sissy anymore to debate me live, you just let me know where we're going to host it. You want to do it on Rogan? You want to do it on one of these other podcasts that you've gone on? I'm up for it. Let's go.
I'm a dumb hillbilly.